Hello, City Church. I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving, and I wanted to share a little bit about eternal perspective. I recently watched a couple Christmas movies, and they were two different stories. Each man in the movie, each of the main characters had struggles. One of them questioned his value to his family and his community. The other one was the opposite. He felt that he had everything. He'd done it all. He'd created all of this under his own power and developed great wealth and had status in his career and just had everything he thought he could want. And then suddenly it was taken away, and he realized that he didn't have anything that really mattered. After watching those two movies, I always like to put myself in the characters' roles when they see that they've lost everything, or that they question their value. It's a Wonderful Life is one of my favorites that I have to watch every year at least once. But in this season, especially COVID doesn't really help. But in this season, we just tend to get so busy. And Matthew 6:22 talks about the treasures that really matter. It says, "But lay up for yourself treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust destroys, and where thieves cannot steal." So, the perspective that we need to have, and that I have to remind myself of on a regular basis, is that eternal perspective. So, is what I'm doing just busyness, or is it taking me away from the kingdom of his dear Son? I mean, He's brought us out of darkness into the kingdom of light, and placed us there by the love of Christ. And so I have to question myself on a regular basis just to keep that focus, to navigate clearly. And sometimes I struggle, but community is what really helps me keep the proper perspective. Community and just for me to get a clear view of what God has placed in me and what God has called me to. Sometimes I just have to listen to those I'm in community with, that know me, that love me, that will speak truth, but also speak encouragement. It always amazes me how I can be in the midst of something, and someone I love will say something to me that will reveal God in me, the thing that God's placed in me that I tend to question if I don't look at that. And that eternal perspective of laying up those things in heaven that really matter, that cannot be stolen, cannot be taken, and that really lay up treasure for eternity. And it's that eternal perspective that I challenge you to hold on to in tough times, in busy times, in just odd times like 2020's been. Just keep that eternal perspective. Realize how valuable community is, and that ability to encourage each other and speak truth to each other in love, that really make life wonderful to live. And keep in mind that this life here on earth is just a blip. We focus so much sometimes on the length or on the length of time we have here on earth, but with that eternal perspective, it doesn't really matter. It's very insignificant. But yet we're called to lay up treasure to bring the kingdom to earth. So have a great week, and I bless all of you in the name of Jesus. Have a great day.